So guys, the second Minecraft movie is on its way, and as of recording this, it's been a few days since the official announcement, and this has given me plenty of time to think about what I would like to see or what we should expect from another Minecraft movie. But just before that, we gotta check out the official announcement for the release date of a Minecraft movie 2. Or another Minecraft movie. I mean, if they call it another Minecraft movie, that would just be like the funniest thing ever. But yeah, as you can see, there are two pickaxes sitting on a
crafting table.
And if we zoom in here, we can actually see some purple glow, and it could be enchanted, but if it was, the whole pickaxe would glow, so maybe this is a teaser for the end. But before we get into my ideas about what I would like to see in a Minecraft movie 2, I'd like to quickly bring up the first Minecraft movie because I feel like I haven't really given my full opinion on it. So yeah, I'm gonna give you guys a quick story time. When I first found Minecraft, it was probably the most magical experience ever. I first found Minecraft when I watched my first video on YouTube when I was like 7 years old from a guy named Paul Souls Jr., who I highly respect and admire, and I'm very grateful he was the first YouTuber I watched. I learned a lot from that guy, and I still watch him to this day. If you haven't seen him, I highly recommend doing so. He is very old school, he plays his games in a very old YouTube way, which is surprisingly refreshing these days. But yeah, go check him out, he's a great guy. But yeah, the first video I watched from him was his 1.8 Survive and Thrive series, and Lil Ol Me was hooked straight away. I had never seen a game like this, and from that day on, it was my life's goal to play this game. But I wouldn't actually finally play this game for like another 7 years, so while I waited, I watched. And over the years, I found more YouTubers and creative people that inspired and shaped my life. And eventually, one day, I did get the game, and here I am now. But what has this all got to do with the Minecraft movie? Well, when I eventually stepped into the theater a few months back and watched a Minecraft movie, I couldn't shake a nostalgic feeling I was having, and I didn't really know what it was, and I didn't really know how to describe it. But I think I finally have the answer. It felt like I was experiencing the world of Minecraft for the first time again, and I definitely feel like that's mostly because of the music. And no, Lava Chicken didn't reignite my childhood memories, okay? But yeah, the music in this movie is insanely good, and probably another reason why it brought me back to the beginning is because they chose to make it live action so that pretty much everything looked different, and that's probably one of the best decisions they ever made. And I know a lot of people don't like the decision to make it live action, but personally, I think it was probably one of the best things because, you know, we see animations of Minecraft pretty much every day, and eventually they all become very samey. So the decision to make it live action was probably one of the best decisions ever. But yeah, it felt like I was rediscovering the game again, just like how I first found the game on YouTube all those years ago. And every time I watch this movie again, I only appreciate and love it even more. But yeah, I feel like the Minecraft movie is something truly special, and I can't wait for 2027 where we get to yearn for the mines once again. But anyway, story time over. It's now time to discuss my ideas for what I would like to see in a Minecraft movie 2. But instead of me just rambling on about the ideas I have, I actually decided it would be more fun to write a quote-unquote script. So with that being said, this is what I would like to see in a Minecraft movie 2. So the movie opens in the overworld in Midport Village. The villagers are going around doing their normal day things, but suddenly a huge purple beam erupts from one of the villager houses, and this house is revealed to be the stash. The villagers go to investigate and find a large dark egg sitting on one of the shelves. The egg was shaking and cracking, but before the villagers could do anything, the egg hatches and the screen cuts to black. We continue in the real world, where Steve and the group, now joined by Alex, somehow get brought back to the world of Minecraft by the Orb of Dominance. Steve suggests they go to Midport Village before finding out why the orb wanted them back. But along the way, they get ambushed by illagers, and the illagers want the orb. The group manage to escape and find their way to Midport Village, which is now in ruins. They decide to investigate the area to see if they can find any survivors, and find a small group of villagers in a broken house. They ask the villagers what happened, but before the villagers could answer, they hear a roar in the distance. Steve realizes what's happened and tells the group that when he defeated the Ender Dragon, he had gotten an egg, but it had taken so long to hatch that he had forgotten about it. After Steve tells them this, they go to the stash to see what they can salvage before heading out in search of the Ender Dragon. But along the way, they get ambushed by illagers again, and this time they aren't so lucky and get captured. The group gets taken back to the Woodland Mansion and gets brought before a particularly small illager, who seemed to be the king. The illager reveals himself as the Arch-Illager and demands Steve to give him the Orb of Dominance. Steve refuses, but it's no help. The orb is taken and the group is taken to the prisons. The group is trapped and must now find a way to escape, but everything they try doesn't work, and eventually they give up. It seemed as if there was nothing they could do, but as Steve backs against the wall to think, he hears music on the other side. He quickly whispers his plan to the rest of the group, who were all put in different cells, and soon after manages to get the attention of the guards. Steve musters up all the courage he can and starts singing. Anyway, the guards were so busy laughing at Steve that they didn't notice one of the prison keys was taken by Alex. Alex manages to unlock her prison cell and slams one of the guards out the way with the door. She quickly throws the keys into one of the other cells and begins fending off the other guard. Henry unlocks his cell and begins to free the others, but once he had freed everyone, a voice called from one of the other cells. There was another prisoner dressed in blue clothes with a long ragged scarf and hood. Henry couldn't see his face but decided to unlock the cell. The prisoner thanked Henry and went to help the others, who were now fighting off more guards. As the prisoner left, Henry couldn't help but think, why did this stranger look like Steve? The group were now racing through the mansion, fending off any guards that got in their way, and eventually found the exit. But as they escaped, Henry noticed that the strange prisoner had vanished. He thought for a moment if he should go back, but they had no time. They had to escape. But as they ran for the woods, the Arch-Illager appeared out of thin air and stops the group in their tracks. He laughs and mocks them for their escape attempt before raising his wand, which now held the Orb of Dominance, and brings to life a redstone monstrosity. The group is terrified and immediately begin to flee in all directions. The Arch-Illager laughs again and commands his monstrosity to hunt them down. They were all now running through the woods, and in the distance they could hear the monstrosity bulldozing through trees to find them. Steve had ran with Garrett and Dawn, and Henry had run with Alex and Natalie. Steve and his group managed to escape and hide somewhere in the woods. After a few seconds, however, they heard screams and a roar in the distance. They began rushing to the source of the sound, and when they eventually arrived, they see that the monstrosity had caught up to Natalie. The monstrosity had grabbed Natalie, and Henry is terrified. He has to save his sister, so he lifts his sword and runs out to face the danger. But as he does, the strange prisoner suddenly runs out from the trees and jumps onto the redstone monstrosity. Henry pauses and watches as the man somehow manages to take down the monstrosity with a shovel and save Natalie. After the monstrosity falls, the group reunites, but when they look around to see where their hero went, he had vanished. The group decide to get as far away as possible and eventually find a spot somewhere in the woods to set up camp. While they sat and started coming up with plans to regain the orb, Henry mentions the strange hero and tells the group that he looks a lot like Steve. Steve laughs and makes a joke about it, but Henry is convinced. After many hours of planning, the group eventually fall asleep, but Henry is woken up when he hears a sound behind one of the trees. He picks up his sword again and begins creeping towards the tree, but suddenly, the hero stumbles out from behind it and quickly runs over to meet him. The man told Henry to follow him. Henry was skeptical but decided to follow him anyway, and they eventually came up to a cliff where the strange man sat on a log. He waved over at Henry to come and sit with him, and after a few moments, Henry joined him. Henry waited for the man to speak, but he just sat and looked out into the distance. Eventually, he asked who he was and why he disappeared. The man answered and revealed his name to be Brian. Brian sat for a few seconds in silence and then removed his hood. Henry was right. He didn't just look like Steve, he looked exactly like Steve. But as Brian turned to face Henry, there was something off about his appearance. Instead of normal eyes, his eyes were glowing and fully white. Henry jumped back frightened, but Brian told him it was okay. He had had these eyes his whole life and said that Henry wasn't the first person to be afraid. Henry asks why they are like that, but Brian just smiles. The two sit in silence once again, but Brian eventually asks if the others are planning on getting the orb back. Henry says yes and offers an invite for Brian to help. Brian takes a moment to think, and after a few seconds, he ominously says, "Let's go get that orb." And yeah, that's as far as I've gotten right now. I would write more, but it's actually pretty hard writing a movie script. Yeah, who would have thought? Writing a movie script is actually hard. And technically, this isn't even a script. This is just more of a general plot blockout, so it's nowhere near as in-depth as an actual script, but I still like it. And that's what counts, right? I like it, so it's great, right? Right? Anyway, I guess if I had to summarize what I would like to see in this movie, basically the main villain of the movie would be the Arch-Illager. I know, Herobrine. I think all of you have already connected the dots already. I'm adapting the meme, Herobrine. You were supposed to be the Herobrine. But anyway, I want the main villain to actually be the Arch-Illager because I want to go in the spin-off games. The first movie was mostly based on Minecraft Legends, so I'd like this movie to be mostly based off of dungeons as well. And yeah, I'd like the Arch-Illager to be the main villain. There is also the Ender Dragon in this movie, and it's more of a side villain. It's not the main villain, and I'll explain why. Basically, I think at some point in the movie, Steve actually tames the Ender Dragon, so it becomes like a good guy. So it's more of a side villain, and I was thinking maybe the Arch-Illager wanted to use the Orb of Dominance to tame it, and Steve didn't want that to happen because he knew what the Arch-Illager would do if he had got his hands on the Ender Dragon. But anyway, the Ender Dragon is a side villain, Arch-Illager is the main villain, and the twist villain is Herobrine, obviously. And I do picture the reveal of Herobrine being evil or corrupted, being very similar to the meme, because it's such a funny meme. And honestly, it would be right in line with the humor of these movies to adapt memes. I mean, we got the freaking Children Yearn for the Mines meme, so there is definitely possibility that this could be adapted. And I know it's copium. I just really want to see Herobrine, okay? It's might be possible that they adapt him. I mean, we did see like a shot of Herobrine in the first one in the Enderman's, I guess you could say, hallucination. I don't know exactly what you would call it, but when Henry goes up against the Enderman and sees visions. Yeah, maybe visions fits better. There's one scene where Steve has got white eyes, and you know what? This brings me on to another thing with Herobrine. I was thinking of two possible things. Either Herobrine in this movie is a clone of Steve, like some evil clone. I don't know. How did this happen? I have no idea. Or maybe Steve has been Herobrine the whole time. I don't know how that would work, but those are just two theories. I mean, hey, it's just a theory, guys. It's just a theory. But anyway, I thought it would be pretty cool to introduce like Herobrine into this, because I feel like at the end of this movie, I also had another idea. Yeah, I'm super rambling right now, but I had an idea where at the end of the movie, Herobrine gets his hands on the Orb of Dominance, and the Arch-Illager, the Ender Dragon, the whole group, everybody has to go up against Steve and work together to banish a bigger threat, which is Herobrine. And I feel like that would actually be pretty cool. I mean, they're not like working together as friends, but they're working together as a team to banish something that would ultimately destroy the world. Even though the Arch-Illager would probably do that as well, I feel like the Arch-Illager has a tiny bit of I don't know what you would call it, brain stuff. I don't know what to call it. He's not as evil as Herobrine. Let's just say that he's not as evil as Herobrine, and I feel like Herobrine would just want to destroy everything. And I feel like at the end of this movie, he would be banished to like the void or something. I don't know. And maybe the third movie could be kind of like a story mode adaptation. We have Minecraft Legends adapted for the first movie, Minecraft Dungeons for the second, and then possibly Minecraft story mode, like a tiny bits of story mode just put in to this movie. I have no idea how that would work. I didn't even know if Minecraft like want to do anything with story mode anymore. But I feel like it would be really cool to see like, oh yeah, you know what? It would be really cool to see, those Herobrine summoning places, things, builds, those ones with the golden netherrack that people used to build in the old days. Yeah, I would love to see that actually adapted in maybe the second movie, maybe the third movie. They have to summon him back from the void. I don't know. This is all just my stupid ideas. But yeah, I'm gonna end it up right here. Let me know down in the comments what you would like to see in a Minecraft movie, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya!